I'm Spitzer Carney. I'm here with Zone 3 City Council candidate David Nokes, and I'm here to ask you a few questions today. Ready to get started?
Yeah, let's get started.
Yes. Awesome. So can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your platform?
Yes, David Nokes. I'm a retired Springfield police officer from the Springfield Police Department, retired to make a major. I'm running for Zone 3 City Council candidate. I've lived or worked in Springfield since 1984, so a long time. I have a daughter that's 34 years old, and she lives in Tulsa. I'm been married for about 37 years. I'm going to get that one right.
Yeah.
Lovely wife, Beth.
Awesome. So you worked for a long time with Springfield Police Department. Can you tell me a little bit about your jump into politics?
Yeah, I decided to run for city council because, as you find, officers have a heart for service, public service, peace officers. So what I want to do is give back to the community that supported me for those many years I was in Springfield, serving them. So I want to give back to them with all the skills and the knowledge and experience I learned from my long police career in Springfield. I just want to give back. And I want to support the police department. It seems like here lately we've had a crusade against the police officers, and I don't think that's right. I want to get on council and get that police perspective on council, and the officers know they have someone on there that has their back.
So a lot of support for the Springfield Police Department. What about any of the other first responders? How are you doing legislature? What do you want to do in City Council to help them?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. So yeah, it's a public safety, public safety can include police department. You can even include public works in that. You can include fire in that. If you look at ambulance, paramedics and stuff, that's not connected with the city as far as the government. But I look at any legislation ordinances. I don't have anything in mind as far as lobbying for legislation in Jeff City right now. But whatever, that's where my skill set comes in. I can look at an ordinance that the city council is going to pass, or they want to support in the state legislation, and I can use my police experience to give insight on that.
Gotcha. Wonderful. So you have brought up that your platform is primarily based on crime and some other interviews. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, how you work to combat that?
Yes. If you look at a 5-year trending data, that's what you have to get a trend in something. You have to use 5 years. You can't go year to year because there's different variables within that year that can cause a decrease or increase in that particular thing you're measuring. So a 5-year trend is violent crime is up. So, and also when I go out and door knock and talk to citizens on the street, crime is a major issue. And if you listen to other candidates and if you look at all the surveys, public safety crime is a major issue for the citizens of Springfield. So that's why crime is my major issue. I want to make sure the police department is well funded and well supported and have the resources they need to fight crime. And also I want to make sure the officers aren't worrying about something else, they're not distracted. Their sole focus should be doing their job, which is enforcing the law. I don't want them to second guess whether or not they make an arrest or not based on public perception of what their leaders are going to think about their arrest. Officers have discretion. That's their number one tool. They can either warn or they can arrest. That's a powerful tool, and I want the officer to know they have support to make that full use of discretion.
So, compounding on that, how would you go about training for the police departments? Is there any more training that you would like to see implemented for them to help kind of back them up? I know you have also talked about other trainings such as diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings, and you are not as much of a fan of that. Can you kind of run me through both of those? I know that's kind of two questions. It's kind of loaded. Sorry.
It's a double-barrel question. So our police department has been through, and I just heard the chief talk on this, which is true. They have to have so many requirements through post. I used to be a general instructor for post police officer and standard training through the Department of Public Safety in Missouri. There's different requirements that so many officers have, even if they've already been hired and they're in service. You call it in-service training. Police officers have to attend so many hours of in-service training a year. Springfield basically doubles that amount of time. They meet the minimum and they add another layer on top of that, so they make sure their officers are fully trained. I am not concerned about our officers' training. I know they're squared away. I used to be an instructor with the PD, so I know they're squared away on training. They have a very, very good training department. And you mentioned something about another type of training?
Yeah, there have been comments that you had made before about diversity, equity, and inclusion training.
Yeah, so when you talk, first of all, you have to define those terms. It seems like equity and all these things, there's new language going on, so you have to redefine them. I believe every person is worthy of dignity. That's for sure. We do need diversity in the police force. We need to include everybody to be a police officer. And when you talk about equity, you're going to have to tell me what do you mean by equity.
Many would say the not equal representation, but the equal opportunities, the equal footing, that kind of playing field.
Equal opportunities, I'm good with. Equal outcomes is a little bit harder, so you have to really define what you mean by equity. They've changed the language so much. But what I want to hire officers on, since you mentioned DEI, I want to hire officers based on merit. I want the best police officer on our police department. I don't care what the color of your skin is. I don't care what gender they identify as. I don't care what kind of sexual practices they do. It doesn't matter. Whatever your sexual orientation is. I want the best officer on the police department. I want our officers to hire officers based on merit. That's what we need. So that's
wonderful.
Does that answer it?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just.
I don't want decisions based on one factor alone, like diversity, or if I want them based on merit, and that's what I'll give pushback on. As far as I know, we're making our decisions based on merit. We have good officers, so that's why I want that focus to be on merit-based hiring.
Wonderful.
I don't think it's fair, and you think it's fair if I pick somebody over you because maybe they have a different skin color. Do you think that's fair?
It's not my moment to have an opinion, sir.
Do you what?
Not my moment to have an opinion, sir.
Okay. Okay.
So is there anything else you would like people to know about your platform, or anything else that you were wanting to hear from your constituents or listening for your constituents that you would want them to bring up to you if you're on city council?
No, they always have questions. I'm open for communication. I'm retired now, so I have time to listen and get input from them. And support me on September 4th, and my focus is going to be crime, as in reducing crime. We need less of it.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr.
Yeah, well, thanks.